aho mayi sthitaṃ viśvaṃ vastuto mayi sthitaṃ na me bandho'sti mokṣo va bhrāntiḥ śāntā nirāśrayā. I have neither bondage nor liberation. Without the support, my illusion has subsided. Oh, the universe is established in me, but truly it does not exist in me. The I expressed here has to be interpreted from the perspective of self. These are the words or the expressions of a seer who has merged his own identity into that of the self and has overcome all the distinction, separation, and duality within himself. Here, his ego is not speaking, but the seer who has become one with the self speaks. He speaks from the heights of pure consciousness as the Supreme Self. From the heights of Uttarkashi, as he often quotes in his discourses. The first assertion in his statement is that the pure self has neither bondage nor liberation. The embodied self, who is caught in the cycle of births and deaths, is subject to these states. However, even in that state, the self remains pure and untouched. The freed soul is forever free and never returns to bondage and mortality. Hence, the question of bondage or liberation does not arise for him. Till one gets freedom or liberation, one is in the state of bondage. And with the sadhaka lit up with the fire of mumukshutva, he is absolutely aware of his state of bondage and he develops an intense craving to rend asunder his state of bondage and to be free ever. However, when one gets liberated in true sense and abides in self, then he neither can think of the state of bondage in which he was earlier, nor can he separate himself from self to say, I have realized self or I am liberated. When one says, I have realized the self, the one who is saying this is separate from self. which is not possible after one has realized the self. He would rather say nothing. He will only be in pure silence. He would give glimpses of that realized state only to few sadhakas who have accepted him as their guru, and that too for their benefit, not to show his state at all. The second assertion is that self does not require any support or refuge, nirāśrayā. The support is required for all created things. We depend upon our body. Our body depends on us. We and our body depend upon the world, the earth, God, etc. In contrast, the pure self is eternally free, independent, and self-existing. In contrast to the created things, he is not illuminated by an external source. He is the light himself and shines with his own brilliance. What Janaka said in an earlier verse, my essence is light. Those who believe in Dvaita believe that the individual self and God are separate, and individual always requires ashraya, the support of God. But those who believe in Advaita, they believe that the individual self is an illusion, and the only reality about any jiva is Supreme Self only. He is ever the Supreme Self. An awakened seer such as Ashtavakra experiences transcendental reality at two levels, the relative and the absolute. The relative reality appears in the body or the field of nature, whereas the absolute reality exists within the self only. The former is our natural state or normal state, the relative, and the latter our transcendental state. The latter does not manifest until one is completely pure. The liberated being who is still alive, Jivan Mukta, experiences both the realities in different states of being. In his natural state, he experiences the projected reality and says, as Janaka says in this verse, the universe is established in me. And in the transcendental state, he says, there is no universe existing in me. There is no creation apart from me. Let us see if there is anything to be quoted from Swami Chinmayananda's book. Janaka here declares that the universe, though it abides in me, does not exist in me. Again, he is repeating the same relative and absolute. From the relative standpoint, when the man of wisdom chooses to look out through his body, mind, and intellect, the world of objects, emotions, and thoughts are there for his experiences. But he ever abides in the self. When the man of wisdom in his own pure self, in the absolute viewpoint, there are neither the equipments of experiences nor has the fields of experiences. There is no creation. Because there is no faculty in me to experience the objects in the creation. Hari Om Tat Sat.